Hello, how are you? Today I'm going to talk to you about vitamin B12, what it's for, and why it's so important. Who are the people most at risk of vitamin B12 deficiency, and what are the signs your body gives that you might be lacking it? I'll also talk about the main sources. You're going to love it. Stay until the end, you won't want to miss it. First of all, if you're new here, welcome. Take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. I post new videos every day. You're going to love it. Let's start talking more about vitamin B12, because everyone knows it's very important, but many people don't know why it's so important. Vitamin B12 plays a big role in the process of building blood cells, specifically red blood cells. It's also closely linked to our nervous system. It helps in the production of nerve cells in our body, so it's very important to consume it for our brain, for neurological functions, not just for the brain, but for the entire body, for the central nervous system. So, it's very important that we are able to consume good sources and know who is most at risk. Let's talk more about that now. Vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin, and we get it from our diet. We can't produce it in our bodies, nor can we convert it into its active form, for example, like we do with vitamin D. So we really have to get it through our food, and the sources are actually quite varied. I'll talk about them in more detail for you later, because a specific group of people needs to be careful. But people who have certain health problems have more difficulty absorbing this vitamin B12. People with atrophic gastritis have a harder time absorbing vitamin B12. People who have some type of intestinal malabsorption, such as Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, or any kind of intestinal malabsorption, may also have difficulty absorbing this vitamin. In addition, people who have immunological problems, such as autoimmune diseases like Graves' disease or lupus, may also develop some kind of problem with absorbing vitamin B12. And people who have pernicious anemia also often have difficulty reaching ideal B12 levels for their bodies. Furthermore, some people who use proton pump inhibitors, such as esomeprazole, pantoprazole, or omeprazole, may experience decreased absorption of this vitamin in the medium to long term. So, it is important to check through a blood test whether it is being well absorbed and if you have a sufficient amount in your body. And people who use other types of medication, such as, for example, oral medications to control diabetes, may in some cases have reduced absorption of this vitamin. That's why vitamin B12 is always measured in the blood tests of diabetics, because they often take these oral anti-diabetic drugs. And we know that a deficiency of vitamin B12 can also be related to problems associated with diabetic peripheral neuropathy, which is linked to that loss of sensation in the nerves of the legs and fingertips. This diabetic peripheral neuropathy may be related to vitamin B12 deficiency. So that's why, if you are diabetic, it's important that you ask your doctor to include this in your blood test. By the way, remember that I have a playlist here on the channel that covers everything about diabetes, and I'll leave it down below to help you as well. Another group that is more likely to have a vitamin B12 deficiency are vegans or strict vegetarians, because usually they don't consume any type of animal product. And the main sources of vitamin B12 are eggs, dairy products, meat, chicken, fish, and animals in general. So people who are vegan or strict vegetarians who don't consume any type of meat need to have regular checkups to see if they are able to maintain a good level of vitamin B12 in their bodies, and if necessary, take supplements to ensure their stores are adequate. It's also important to mention that older people have more difficulty absorbing vitamin B12, so the older the person, the more attention we need to pay to checking their blood levels during consultations. And people who have had bariatric surgery and had part of their stomach removed may also experience reduced absorption of this vitamin, so it's important to monitor them as well. People who drink a lot of alcohol, especially in a chronic way, those who consume large amounts of alcohol throughout the day, also tend to have a deficiency of vitamin B12. In these cases, it's also important to check their levels to make sure they are within the normal range. I've already mentioned the animal sources of vitamin B12, which are very easy to add to your daily routine. But for vegans, I want to point out that there are some vegan sources, such as algae, mainly, some mushrooms, nutritional yeast, which many vegans use, tempeh, and some cereals that are already fortified with vitamin B12, specifically with vegans in mind. So, carefully read the labels of the foods you buy, cereals, oats, or any other vegan product, if you're concerned about this, such as for dietary reasons. Usually these products are already supplemented with B12 and can help you, but if not, you can add nutritional yeast, for example, which will provide you with a certain source of B12. But always remember to check your levels, as that's important. So, what are the signs and symptoms that our body gives us to start noticing that we might be experiencing some kind of B12 deficiency? One of the main signs you might feel is numbness or tingling in your hands and feet, that unusual sensation. Often, people who are deficient in B12 start to experience these problems. Some people even experience weakness in their muscles, difficulty getting up quickly, or a general lack of muscle strength because their vitamin B12 levels may actually be lower than normal. In addition, for some people, it can also affect the emotional side and may sometimes trigger episodes of anxiety or depression. So it's very important to check your vitamin B12 levels in these cases as well, especially if you already have any of these issues, such as depression, anxiety, or stress. Many people report feeling weakness, fatigue, and dizziness. Many also mention having blurred vision, more difficulty focusing their eyesight, and a sensation of a slightly sluggish tongue. When speaking, it feels as if the tongue is heavy in the mouth, which can also be related to a B12 deficiency. For some people, it can even cause certain intestinal symptoms. In some cases, it leads to constipation, and in others, it causes diarrhea. Any change in your bowel movement patterns should be carefully observed, and it's important to investigate whether it might be related to B12. Remember that this video is purely informational. If you think you might have any health issues or nutritional deficiencies, always seek out your doctor or a nutritionist in your city to help you. I've already mentioned this, but I think it's an important detail and worth emphasizing. It is a water-soluble vitamin, it dissolves in water, and it is not stored in our bodies. That's why it's important for you to consume this vitamin relatively frequently so that you always maintain it at ideal levels. It's different from vitamin D or vitamin E, which we can take in larger doses if necessary to build up a reserve. This doesn't happen with vitamin B12, which is why supplementation is often done regularly for those at risk of deficiency, especially because in some cases, when you start to experience some kind of damage to the nervous system, damage related to some type of neuropathy, many times these cannot be reversed depending on the case, so ideally we should avoid reaching such a situation. In these cases, it may be necessary to supplement with intramuscular injections because they accumulate in the muscle, forming a depot that is gradually released, or with oral supplementation. There are various types of supplements, so you can ask your doctor or nutritionist to determine the right dose for you and help you with this. Many people who are concerned about vitamin B12 are also worried about their intake of other vitamins. I have several videos here on the channel discussing various different vitamins and minerals. So if you want to learn more about any other vitamin or mineral, check the description for my other videos on vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin D, and many other nutrients that are important for your health. Also remember that I have a playlist with tips for vegans, which can help add variety and improve the quality of your diet, because many times some vegans have a very restricted diet. So it's important for us to have a lot of variety, and remember that I also have many vegan recipes here, both sweet and savory. I'll leave all of that down below in the description. As I mentioned, vitamin B12 deficiency is linked to pernicious anemia, which is a different type of anemia from iron deficiency anemia. I already have a video here on the channel talking about iron deficiency anemia as well. If you want to know more about it, I'll leave it down below in the description. And remember, I'll also leave some recipe tips here for lunch and dinner, snacks, and breakfast to help you have a more varied dietary re-education and add more of these different sources of B12 to your meals. Let me know down below if you're concerned about your vitamin B12, if you have any of these health conditions, or if you knew that they could affect B12 absorption. If you're vegan, if you take supplements, or if you have any tips to share, I'd love to see your comment. Like the video, it really helps me out, and share it with anyone who needs it or who would enjoy this content. Let's work together to help more people and expand this chain of good, because that's what I want here with the channel. See you next time. Bye.